Hey, it's Brett here, and I want to do another lesson on stuff that I can't imagine not knowing, stuff you should know on guitar. So, something that just popped into my head that I really can't imagine not knowing is the 1-4-5 chord progression using power chords. So, even if you've only been playing guitar a tiny bit of time, you've probably heard this in this familiar song. Bells. There's tons of songs that sound almost the same as that. It's a really common chord progression. That's Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones, but it could be like thousands of other songs. And what I want to show in this video is how to play this in different spots and then to explain kind of what's happening. But first I'm going to show the different ways to play it. But first, get Blitzkrieg Bop out of your head. I'm not trying to play that. I mean, you can imagine it, but what's more important is I'm going to say the number of the chord, and even if you don't know theory, guitar theory, you want to start to know what a 1-4-5 chord progression is because it's so important. And so first, just learn how to play this. I'm going to do 2-note power chords to start. I'll show the full power chords later. Actually, before I even do the chords, I'm just going to do the notes. So the root note of each chord, which is the bottom note of the chord, it's the note that the chord gets its name from. So first one is right here on the 3rd fret, and 3rd fret on the A string, and then 5th fret on the A string. So it can be like this. I'll play it like this, like Blitzkrieg Bop, but I'm just gonna do like a simplified version. So it's 3, 3, 5. Those are the fret numbers. 3, 3, 5. But now what's more important is I'll say the notes real quick, and then I'm going to say the chord number, and that's what's actually more important here. This is G, C, and D. And this is a 1-4-5 in chord in the key of G major. But this is the 1 chord, so now I'm going to say the chord number. 1, 4, 5, or I'll add the power chords. 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5. And now real quick, because every time I talk about theory, people always say I don't get it. What is that 1-4-5 stuff? What does that mean? Well, everything in music theory is in relation to the major scale. So I'm going to play a G major scale real quick. Fa, sol, la, ti, do. And now if you count the numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All 1-4-5 means is the 1st, 4th, and 5th notes. 1, so there's the 1 of whatever scale you're in. So in this case, G major. So the 1 is the 1, the 1st note, which in this case is G, because we could be somewhere else. That'd be the 1, the 1st note. But back to here. 1, and then 2, 3, 4. The 4th note is right there. 5, the 5th note's right there. 6, 7, 1. So just pay attention to 1-4-5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Or a lot of times I play a major scale like this. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. 1, 4, 5. All it means is it comes from the major scale. And so make sure you can do this now. With power chords, I'm going to use my 1st finger, a ring finger. So now this is the 1 chord. So that's the 3rd and the 5th fret. 3rd and 5th fret up, moved up, and 5th and 7th fret moved over. So the 1 chord, because it's built on the 1st note of the scale. Okay, so far this is super standard. If you've played guitar for more than a few months, you've probably run into something that does these chords. mix them up any order and make something sound good on guitar. But what I want to show now is, yeah, that's nice to know, but the next thing is 3 more ways to play that same thing. So the next one, you're gonna go up to here, and then we'll connect these together. Actually, for the next one, let's do it like this. So now the 1 stays in the same spot, but the next one is on the 8th fret, and then the next one's on the 10th fret. But listen, if you use your ear, so one thing, I'm trying to make videos to help people go from beginner to intermediate, and one of the biggest things is starting to rely on your ear. Because it is music, it's not just a logical thing. Like, you gotta start relying on your ear just to see, does that feel right or sound right? So listen to this chord. See, it sounds the same. And this one. I don't need to tell you what the notes are. You can just hear those are the same. The exact same chord. So all we're doing is shifting the 4 to here and the 5 to here. And if you use your ear, just listen to this. It's the same, right? So the next thing is, though, is to make sure that you can do it. So it's 3rd fret is the 1, and then instead of playing the 4 chord on 3rd fret here, go to the 8th fret, and instead of playing the 5 chord here, go to the 10th fret. So like this. Know what they do at the end, they go 1, 4, 1, the 1, 4, and the 1 chord. 1, 4, 1. So now before you move on, try doing this. Play it here. And then so now you know 2 spots how to play the same thing. And if you wonder why would you pick one over the other, well, they do sound a little bit different. Even though they're the same chords, these two, it's the same exact chord progression in terms of notes. You'll notice, like, as you play guitar longer, stuff sounds a little different. When it's closer to here, it sounds brighter. And as you get towards the middle, it sounds like a little bit softer. It has to do with the quality of the string, and it has to do with how the strings vibrate. Things in the middle of the guitar vibrate a little different, even if it's the exact same note. See, it sounds a little softer. So that's one reason. The other reason is sometimes you might want to slide, like. You can't slide like between these two, but you can slide here. And another reason is, let's say you wanted to add high notes. Sounds pretty bad, but I'd have to think of like a more realistic example. But sometimes, let's say you want to add some high notes, that's another reason. Like really high, because here if you were here, you'd have to jump up there really quick. And that proves to be more true for me when I'm using like full chords. So like, if I moved it here versus here, I could hit those high notes. Okay, the 3rd chord progression, you want to play, when you get to there, just go straight up to the 10th fret. And this is the same chord as this, but if you use your ear, you can tell something's a little different. It's actually an octave higher. Listen. If I do the octave here, the octave of G of the 1 chord, this is the octave over to up to. You can hear that's the same, and so the other spot to play the 1 chord is right here. And now we're gonna do like this. The 1 is right here on the 10th fret. is right here, just like before, on the 8th fret, and the 5 is on the 10th fret. One chord, 4. So here the 4 was above the 1 chord, and the 5 was kind of over, and then in this case the 1 chord has the 5 right below it, and the 4 chord is over. So like 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 5. But playing this Blitzkrieg bop progression, if you can hear it in your head, you'll be able to know, like. So that last part, you would want to go 1, 4, 1. Then the last way to play this would be to start here, your 1 chord up here, and then go down like this. So. So you can actually make kind of like a big loop around your guitar, and it's hard to really understate how important these progressions are. And even if you don't really get what I'm saying, if you just learn how to play it, later the theory and all that will kind of click in. But starting to hear it will help you, because then when people talk about it in different contexts, you'll have some association. So this is a 1-4-5 in the key of G. And these are just so common, like using these notes. And even if you're playing something that doesn't sound like this, like the key of G is just so, it's just everywhere. So here's the whole thing all the way through. So here we go. Actually, I'm going to say the chord numbers. Let me start over. So here we go. 1 chord. 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 1. Next one, 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 1, 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5. 1, 4, 1, and then 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 1. And then the next step is you could add like the bigger power chords, or if you know bar chords, you can do the same thing using your full bar chords. Start to mix them up, like you can start to mix up the order, and then one more advanced thing you could start to try is playing just the bass, and just try adding extra notes up above. So what am I doing there? It might look complicated if you didn't know ahead of time. But all I was doing is thinking of the bass, and I was adding notes up above. And that's what I mean. Like, I use this concept all the time, because the 1-4-5, the more you play music and you start to get into a little theory, or even if you're just into playing but you see enough songs, you're going to start to realize that there's common patterns in the 1-4-5. It's the most common pattern through all music I can think of. And this is a good example of it. So if anyone has any questions, let me know. Because this stuff's confusing, but even if you're a beginner, just try to just play it and see if you can do that. All right.